I was thinking it might be cool if we just go around and I think we all kind of know each other by now, but maybe just in one or two words, describe what your relationship is with your voice today.
Oh, lovely.
Does anyone want to volunteer to go first?
Tenuous.
Ah, good word.
That is a good
I've
word.
I did some voice workshop stuff a couple of years ago, about this time 2 years ago actually, and when I started that sort of it's sort of like an 8 week, 6 week or 8 week workshop, sort of in a group setting. So that was me just kind of getting used to the idea of opening my mouth in public and letting things out. Hey, Kirsty.
Hey, Kirsty.
Hey, Kirsty.
So I started doing the exercises that came with that. It was like a CD of exercises, sort of voice warm up stuff you got from that. So like, things like arpeggios and octave slides and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of been working with those, but and I've done a few open mics, and I have been in the before times. There was a couple of friends I used to get together with, and we'd jam and we'd take turns doing vocals on stuff depending who knew the song. And doing that voice work stuff definitely helped with that. I could tell just from the difference, like just apart from anything else, just being able to project a bit better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Cool.
yeah, I definitely know it's like my pitch is still kind of wobbly, and yeah, I record myself and I don't like what I hear. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's common, though.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so
Really?
common. I feel like that every time I record something.
If you're not
Um,
doing 6 takes on a vocal, you're not doing it right. 6 would be a conservative guess.
Welcome, Kirsty. We are just going around and sharing in one or two words what your relationship is with your voice today. In one or two words. So, did anyone want to go next? Shall I start calling up people?
Sure, I'll go. One or two words. That's hard. I like tenuous. It's not necessarily tenuous. It's probably just my sentence would be not used as much as I would like.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be singing I like to do like live streams every other week, and I keep finding myself the Friday before I go live to be singing a couple of hours and chastising myself going, you dope, if you worked on it throughout the week, your voice would get stronger, your upper register would be fine, you wouldn't have problems, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
So it's relationship with my voice is a work in progress, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Who's next?
Mine is definitely love hate. There are days when I just absolutely love it, and then there's days like today when it was okay, but it wasn't fantastic. It was more my guitar playing today that was driving me crazy, and then the dog got up and shook her tags around, and then the cat was playing with some toy and made a bunch of racket, and then the phone was ringing, and it was so frustrating. I couldn't get anything done. But no, I don't know. I like my voice, but I know that it's limited, and that's the unfortunate reality. Uh, Being the Beatlemaniac that I am, I grew up trying to sing like Paul McCartney and could never ever do it. After my voice changed, I couldn't hit an oo to save my life. I'm at.
Right, so interesting. Yeah, go.
I'm actually going to steal what Dave said. I was going to say the same thing. Love-hate relationship. Like, and I feel like it's my voice who hates me because I'm not, like, I don't have any, like, vocal training or whatever. So I don't do vocal warm-ups, even if I should be. And, like, it's just that I don't work on my voice enough. So sometimes it lets me down, but that's my fault. So I'm like, I have to figure stuff out, how to be better and like improve on the technique and all that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Interesting. This is great. Welcome. Welcome, Gwen. We are doing, we're going around and just sharing one or two words. What is your relationship with your voice today?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Why I say one or two words and I just all of a sudden I'm like, I have none. I burned my throat a couple weeks ago and have not sung since. Hot tea, boiling hot tea. So I'm just gotta wait it out. I don't know if you can hear it, but I've got like major weirdness, vocal fry.
I remember you talking about that in office
Yeah.
hours last week. Yeah.
Yeah. I did some
That's rough. Hopefully we can find a way to not put any strain on it.
Well, I'll just mark whatever.
I
haven't done mine.
Okay, cool. Go.
My relationship with my voice today and every day is complicated. And I think the relationship with my speaking voice and the relationship with my singing voice are two different things. And because of what I've been through in my life, I have undergone speech therapy. And I actually had a session with a speech therapist today for an hour. Now she knows, my speech therapist knows that I sing and play and that I do music. But she is a speech therapist, not a singing coach. But having said that, she's taught me a lot of techniques for trying to look after my voice. Warm up exercises for which she says should work equally well for singing and speaking in public. I've got this little app for my phone now, the 1 minute warm up, which is just quick exercises to get your voice going. So I've learned quite recently now, just in the last 6 weeks, I've been back into speech therapy after several years away. I've learned several techniques for sort of getting my voice to a fairly good place for speaking quite quickly. But my singing voice, I don't like my singing voice. I mean, probably just like Rick said, I record myself and then I think, oh no, don't like the sound of that. I don't mind the sound of it so much when I'm singing, what it sounds like in my head. But when I actually hear it played back, it's just, don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that's very common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally common. Yeah. It does get easier. It definitely gets easier the more you listen back. It takes time. Cool. I think that just leaves me. I would say that my relationship with my voice is ongoing. It's every day is like a little bit different, but this morning I've just recently woken up, so who knows what my voice is today. I don't yet, and that's totally fine. So thank you for all sharing that. It's very insightful and useful. What I wanted to do, so for maybe the last 4 years I've been taking vocal lessons, and there's just so much good stuff that I thought might be useful for other people too, and so I wanted to share that. And one of the things that really struck me really early on was how the techniques for singing feel a little unnatural, like feel a little just not what you would maybe expect them to be. So for instance, we want to try and avoid using the throat and putting all of the tension in the rest of your body, because obviously then that takes care of your throat and doesn't create any damage. It's kind of about singing backwards and not singing forwards. It's about not breathing out. It's all of these things that feel a little like against what we naturally do when we talk. And one of the most important things, and one of the things that has been absolutely crucial for me, every time, and is the only thing I will not leave out of my warm-up, is relaxing. Your body has to be relaxed. It needs to be in a relaxed state, because if you have tension and your shoulders kind of like get up here, everything closes off, and it makes it really, you start pushing out your voice, and you're just in a constant battle with yourself, with your body. So the first thing that we're going to do, this is going to be like a monthly thing. And so the first thing we're going to do every single time is close our eyes and take some deep breaths. So follow along with me. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day, and then completely let it out. And wherever you are, however you're sitting, just make sure that your shoulders feel really relaxed as you breathe. Like, let yourself feel like you're almost melting through the floor as you breathe out. And then what we're going to do is, as you keep breathing deep, we're just going to stay silent for a minute in that moment. And I want you to think about, or just imagine yourself singing. And it can be in any space. You might be alone, you might be in front of a huge crowd in a stadium, or it might be a small one. And I want you to just imagine that it's all completely effortless, that your voice does exactly what you want it to, that it feels easy and it feels good, and you can hit the high notes and the low notes and the big notes and the small ones, that it all just feels completely effortless. So I want you to just take the next minute to really see if you can embody that feeling, see if you can imagine what that would feel like. So I'm going to, can I mute everyone? We can just stay unmuted. So if we just stay for the next minute, keep your eyes closed, and I'll let you know when we're done. And then wherever you are, take one more really deep breath, hold it at the top. And as you let it out, I want you to poke out your tongue and just say, ah. Ah. And then you can open your eyes. Welcome.
Hey.
Thank you for joining. Perfect timing. I'm sorry if I was not letting you in. We have just done a bit of a breathing exercise just to relax. So feel free to close your eyes and take a deep breath if you would like to meet us there. How did that feel for everyone? Anyone have any insights?
Relaxing.
Could anyone, so one of the things I got everyone to do, Raju, is to imagine singing in any space and like it feeling completely effortless. Could anyone like really put themselves in that zone?
Oh yeah. Seemed like it anyway.
What did
Again,
you notice?
just a little more positive. I felt a lot more positive and ready to go. And in a combination with that and warming up, I think playing it'd be a lot more effortless, at least on the singing side. And just yeah, it was kind of just opened up over the last minute and just looked at things and said, yeah, that could be a really cool starter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of, as I was visualizing that, I could sort of feel it sort of let me locate a bit of tension that I could kind of let go.
Mm,
So,
beautiful. All right. So the next thing I want you to do, we will do from the next session onwards, we'll have a proper warm-up section. But I wanted to start here. I want you all, you can stay on mute, you can come off mute, you can do one at a time, however you feel comfortable. I want you to sing one note, and it can be any note. And now I just want you to sing on an R, and just pay attention to where you feel it in your face. How does your body feel? How does your mind feel? Like, see if you can just really pay attention to what it feels like. So wherever you are, give that a go. Did you notice anything interesting that you didn't know before?
There's a lot of vibration in my chest. Like all of from my diaphragm up was vibrating and not so
Yep.
much in here or up in my head.
Yep, wasn't in the throat. It came from here.
Beautiful.
Diaphragm in the gut.
I found it like I think depending on what pitch I'm singing, it will vibrate in different places. But like I started pretty low, and it was hard for me to like feel any difference. But then when I just brought it up, like I could start feeling it like in my skull, a little bit back here, kind of near my ears, and yeah. And I noticed that when it helped me notice the difference when I'd stop and then start again.
Yes.
I tried 2 notes too, so like the lower note was more in the chest area, but then when I went like head voice, kind of, it was here for me.
Mm-hmm. That is beautiful. That is like perfect. This is exactly where you want your notes to sit. I love that. I love this. This is very cool. Anything else?
I could feel my teeth vibrating.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was kind of like Bryce. Mine was all in my nose.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. This is so good. You guys are already ahead. There's something really interesting about the way that we talk, and particularly depending on our accents. We will talk in different places in our face and often push words out. And so for me, being a Kiwi, my words are all very low in the face and very, very lazy. And so I've had to learn how to pull all of the notes up. So if you're already starting in this place, that's amazing. That's going to make the work much easier for you. So what I want you to do again this time, so take that same note, and I want you to imagine that it's coming from the nose. The nose is creating the sound, not your voice. It is coming. You can imagine a little face on your nose if it makes it easier. Imagine your nose has lips. The note is coming from your nose, and I want you to imagine that it's going in this direction. So you're pulling it backwards. So instead of it's coming backwards. See if you can play with both, how you sang it before, and then from your nose backwards, and see if you can feel the difference. Give that a try. Do we have any observations?
Other than that's really hard to do.
Yeah, it
I
was
think
easier
the higher your
with my
notes
head voice, but
are, the more they're going to be able to go backwards.
yeah,
Anything low is still kind of down here, but the higher I got, the easier it was to imagine that it was moving backward.
yeah.
Yeah, that's normal. That's totally fine.
I feel again like I got a bit of a relaxation that there was less tension
Mhm.
just around here than otherwise.
Perfect. That's perfect. Let's do. Sorry. Go.
I kind of felt that I could open up a little more, thinking of it backwards. Like the note was a little more round, kind of.
Yeah, definitely. There's because going this way, there's kind of no resonance space. You're just sending it off a cliff edge kind of thing. When you're sending a note backwards, you're letting it resonate in all of the space that you've got. So let's try it one more time. And what I want you to do is to, before you do the note, so you're going to imagine it from your nose, and you're going to pull it backwards. I want you to take a breath in and breathe out, and then make your noise. So we're not going to breathe in before, we're going to breathe out before you make the note. Does that make sense? Cool. Did you notice anything new?
Yeah, I did. It felt to me the first time and also the second time that it was making my nose tingle. But that time it was more like it was sort of bouncing around in my nose. And does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful.
Definitely more up in my head, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Aha.
it came to the head a little bit more when I went low and high.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. This is exactly, so this might be really useful for you, Dave, to get up in the head voice space a bit more, to make it a little clearer and a little easier, right? It takes away any like work to try and push for notes, but rather, and actually what you want to try and remember is that the higher you go, the more relaxed, the more open, the more wide you kind of want to be. It's always about allowing the note rather than pushing for something.
Yeah, I think that's what I've been doing wrong my whole life, probably.
It's super unnatural though, isn't it, to like come at singing in that way? It doesn't kind of make sense because we don't talk that way. But also talking is effortless, right? We don't think about it, we just do it. And so singing, it's like we come to it, we go, right now I've got to sing. Well, no, what if it's just already there and we're just creating spaces in our body to allow it to be? And what if it's just that simple? So that's really all we're doing, is actually just finding spots of tension and going, let's just ungrip that a little bit and see if we can create space. So that's all that is. So just by simply, and these are the crucial things: relax, let the air out, because actually what you have in your body naturally is enough air. We don't need to take any more in. You've got everything you need. So taking out the air, letting yourself be in a relaxed position, and then just letting it just resonate in that headspace and pulling it backwards so that it can do all of that work. That's kind of like the key. If you can do that, you're halfway there. So what I thought would be really cool to do, what's that time? Yeah, so we've got time, this is perfect. So what I thought we could do is, if you've got a song, it can be any song, and just pick one line from a song, and it might be something that's really easy for you, or it might be something that's challenging. And if you're comfortable, let's go around and sing it. And I want you to sing it how you would normally sing it, and then see if you can apply what we've just talked about. See if you can apply those things of breathing out and then singing the line. And yeah, I wanted to use this analogy because I thought this might be useful. This is what I often imagine when I'm singing. So I imagine I'm standing, so if I face this way, there's a wall here. There's a wall here and there's a shelf, and the shelf cuts through right here. And all of the notes are ornaments on the shelf. They're all just little decorations. Some of them are bigger and wider and more colorful, or like some of them are small and dark, and they're all facing away from the wall, right? And so as I'm singing the song, I'm just picking up each ornament. I'm just picking up each ornament, and they're just like coming off the shelf. That's how I imagine the singing. So everything sits up here, and all of these little ornaments that are facing back away from the wall, they're all resonating off this wall backwards. I don't know if that will help. I kind of often imagine strange things in my head as I'm singing. But yeah, so if anyone has a line that they would be brave enough to come off mute and try those techniques on, let me know.
I'm just trying to think of a song that wouldn't be as challenging as the one that instantly came to mind.
I mean, doesn't that sound perfect though?
Well, it does, but I can imagine myself just completely falling flat on my face too. Let me grab a guitar.
Cool. Also, I just want to say that there is no wrong. Like, there's no judgment in any of this. It's okay to let yourself kind of sound terrible. It's okay to sound weird, because this is all like play, and this is all finding space. This is not about coming out as perfect straight off the bat. This is just about finding something. And maybe you'll find something and go, oh, okay, not that way. How can I mold this a different way? I feel like I should be giving an example, shouldn't I, of this? I can just do a little a cappella thing. What song should I do? All right, so if I do Flow, I wrote a song called Flow, and I think right at the beginning, the first way that I would sing it would be like something like, flow, flow down the river. And I'm like working hard there to try and get that out. I'm working hard. Whereas now I think about this shelf and I've got this wall and I've got all of the notes of the ornaments, I'm thinking, flow, flow down the river. And I've got far more control. Can you hear the difference? I've got so much more control. I can choose like what I do with these ornaments. That's what I'm hoping you can feel a little bit of.
Yeah,
So if
the second
anyone,
time through, it seemed like you were. The first time through, it seemed like you were working harder and producing less volume.
yes,
Second time through, you were louder with less apparent effort.
yes, exactly that.
Okay. Can you guys hear my guitar?
Yes,
It sounds all right, not all warbly.
no, perfect.
Awesome. Okay, the song that comes to mind is Mother Nature's Son by the Beatles. And this one has always gotten me. The main vocal isn't bad, but when he hits this little fiddly bit going up the neck, and he sings along with it, only he's an octave higher than I'll ever get, you know, and that's the trouble. So the main vocal is here. Born a poor young country boy, Mother Nature's son. And even there I'm straining, right? And then all day long I'm sitting singing songs for everyone. And I can capo and get around all that, but I can never get around this business. Like, that's the pitch that it's supposed to be, but I can't hit that. It sounds like shit, and it drives me crazy. So I never sing it. I'll sing it down, or I'll just say, okay, everybody, you sing this part, you know, and let them suck.
Okay, I want to try something with you because I'm so curious about this. Can you try and sing those notes far more slowly, but on ma? See if you can do ma, because that will naturally help you put it in that nasal space and pull it backwards.
Okay.
And remember to just, we want to take it away from the throat, so it's just still here. Ma, ma, ma. What are the notes?
Okay. Mama. Well, that's my low register. Mama, mama, mama. No, it's still. I get it up, caught here, and it doesn't get up into my nose at all.
So see if you can do each one really slow, just one note at a time.
Okay. Ma.
But up high.
But high.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Ma. That's that'll be it.
So what note?
D.
Okay, let's start on like a B.
Ma.
But up high. Is that comfortable?
Reasonably.
Okay, cool. So
and it's somewhere in between here. It's definitely not up in my nose, but
right. So that would be the thing that so for you, that would be the thing to practice, is actually singing those notes and starting from somewhere lower like a B, following that same pattern and using ma and just going really slowly until you feel each note in that resonance space, until it feels really easy. You want to make sure your shoulders are relaxed, that you are telling yourself, this is easy, I got this. In fact, I dare you to try that now, to try those notes and just tell yourself, no, I got this. This is so easy. I can do it. Because sometimes that is all you need to do. Okay, if you keep telling yourself, I can't, then
you're
your
right.
body believes you.
Absolutely.
So that would be my approach to that, does that make sense? To like really try and
of course I have decades of no, you can't hanging in the back of my head.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to have to work through, I think, before I ever get there. And I mean, I know it's possible to hit those notes for people with a voice as deep as mine. I know it's possible.
Yep.
Roy Orbison had the wickedest vocal range. How he did it, I'll never know, unless I dedicate myself to taking voice lessons. That'd be the next thing, I guess. But
right. But yeah, so just by doing those, by like pulling it down a little bit and just being really gentle and slow and patient, kind of all you're doing is actually just stretching. You're stretching your voice, what's already there, but you're also stretching what you're believing in yourself. You're also,
absolutely.
If you're going, oh, I can only go to this note, well, let's actually just debunk that a little bit and just prove that actually, no, you can't do more than that. And then if you can do more than that, well, then you can do more than that note. And then, so it's just a constant stretching. But yes, as you said, the belief system is really, really important. So one thing that you can do that is really, really useful is morning pages, doing some writing and actually writing, why do I believe this? Why do I believe this? Is this actually true? That is a really, really great way. And then ending it with some kind of affirmation, with some kind of like, actually, this is how I want to feel about myself. So I'm going to write this out and I'm going to make this real. Helps.
I love that question. Is this true? When like stating a thought that's just an honest belief that's maybe self-destructive, and then allowing the space to ask, is this true? And a lot of times when I do that, I end up going like waffling around, like, well, I can't know that it's not true. And so, but it's helpful to just be able to see those thoughts out there, because I keep them hidden behind a lot of stuff.
Yeah, as we all do. We all create those internal narratives that then end up hindering us because our body believes them. Despite what our head really knows is true, our body will believe them. So we've got to convince it otherwise, because that's where we make the spaces, and that's where we hold. That's where we do the work. We don't do the work here. We use the rest of our body to do the work for singing. So that's really important.
I'd be curious to see if Dave, what you said that you could kind of cheat with the capo.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know, like, what key are you absolutely positive you could?
Oh God,
play it, that you could sing it in.
That I don't know. Probably. Well, that would probably be a lot more comfortable. Capo 3, which puts me in the key of F, I guess. Oops. There we go. But then I'm not upper register, right? If I bring it up to 7th fret, that'll make me what? An A. Right, and that I can feel up in here for sure. But it's a lot of it is coming from my throat.
Yeah, so I would say try the ma, because the ma is going to really, really pull those notes backwards.
Okay.
That will help. When you're singing do, that's what makes it difficult. When you're singing do, that naturally pushes out air, and that's what we want to avoid. And we can use air, right? So we can use breath as a way to decorate the way that we sing. But if we start with ma, and then we can place a little breath on top, we want to start from this place that's really like, because I can feel it when you're singing, you're kind of reaching.
Everything tightens up, yeah.
And in fact, what you could do, what might be useful for you, is to start with ma. You're starting here, and actually just to imagine that the notes are going lower rather than higher. So rather than ma, 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 they're going ma, ma, ma. Just like see if you can mentally picture that, because that can really, really help. Because sometimes what we do is we go, oh, there's this thing and it goes up to here and it's so hard. In reality, it's going here. Right?
Yeah.
So by doing that, you're bringing them much closer to what feels naturally comfortable to you.
Cool. Thank you. Just for the sake of saying so, 90% of my singing imperfections and bad beliefs, I guess, stems from probably grade 6 in music class. Our teacher used to play for us, and that's about when my voice started to change and I couldn't hit the high stuff anymore. So I started singing low, and she said, "Hey, who's doing that? That sounds great. Keep that up." Great. Now I can sing all kinds of low. You know, but I couldn't hit a high note to save my life anymore.
I had the exact same thing happen. Well, not exact, but I remember in high school, I auditioned for a barbershop quartet, and I went in for soprano and got given bass because I could sing lower than everyone else. And so all of a sudden it's like, oh, only that voice is valuable. Everything else is kind of, but no one wants that. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
That's amazing.
But let's start thinking of our voices as, rather than having a chest voice and a head voice, we just have one voice, right? We just have one voice. And It's all valuable.
Awesome.
It's all just about finding the space where it feels the easiest, really, and feels the best for you.
Yeah. Right on. Thanks, Kel.
I hope that was helpful.
Oh, definitely.
Can I just say that was actually really helpful for me, because Mother Nature's Son is in my Beatles repertoire as well. And I can hit those notes, but only just, and it's a real strain. And I was singing along, or da-da-daing along, as you were playing, Dave. And let's just say I was able to hit them. I'm not sure I could necessarily go higher, but I was able to hit them with a lot less strain and more sort of openness and airiness in my voice. So I definitely felt a difference. And like, I'm not going to pick up my guitar. I did for a minute, but like, it really did make a difference with me.
That's amazing.
Something you said, Kel, that kind of resonates with some little trick that I picked up like a long time ago, where you're talking about kind of visualizing going down while you're going up. I always thought that singing higher was like you're like reaching up. And then my friend who took vocal lessons was like, no, to sing high, you bring your chin down. You go like, ah, like you like, if you're going to go high, like you don't strain, you go like this and like squeeze your butt cheeks. But it really, like, it was super counterintuitive. And unless someone is like told that to like bring it in, I think it's like something physical going on with the vocal cords. I don't know if anyone knows what that physical thing is, but it's like, it works with you. This works against you physically.
Yes. It's kind of a closing off. I think when you're reaching, you're stretching, and you're like really like pushing your vocal cords together, and that's creating like the friction. That's creating the need to push more, and then so you're pushing more, and it's making even more like that kind of
interesting
strain. And so you just want to keep them just really gentle, just soft, and that's hard. As you said, it's really counterintuitive to sing that way. And so by focusing down, all you're really doing is kind of grounding yourself. You're allowing your body to take on that tension.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also thought about that trick too, and for me it's kind of more like in my head, psychologically thinking, because normally if you think, oh, I'm going high, and you think about going high, you're already putting yourself in that position where you're closing yourself more, like you're kind of like tensed up. But then if you think of it being down, you think that it's more comfortable for you. So you like open up a little more and you just don't push that much, and it just like it's more natural.
Yes. Yes. Did anyone else want to give the exercise a go? It's totally fine if not.
I kind of did it while Dave was doing it.
Perfect. Oh, cool, 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 cool.
All right, let's see. This is one that I usually do with my friends that I jam with. So, everybody's so in love. They don't touch or meet. Eyes are weeping, eyes are red. Bunch of flowers in the street. I love a millionaire. I love a millionaire. I love a millionaire. Not for sure I got the chords right for that, but anyway, something like that.
That's cool. That's cool. What happens if you try that same thing, but replace all the words with ma?
Right.
So what I would do is replace all the words with ma, then sing it again with the real words, but imagine you're singing ma still. Imagine that feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
All mind tricks.
All right. So go through it once, mowing it through, and then go through it again, singing it,
Yeah.
but imagining I'm mowing it. All right. Ma, 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 ma. Ma, 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 ma. Ma, 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 ma. Ma, 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 ma. Everybody's so in love. They don't touch or meet. Eyes are weeping, eyes are red. Bunch of flowers in the street. I love a millionaire. I love a millionaire. I love a millionaire. I love a millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that felt, I don't know, more natural.
Right, right. And you can imagine, right, that the more that you do that, the more you can really feel that space. You could
Yeah.
definitely hear like the resonance change.
I heard a resonance change from the very first time you sung the words, and then I started hearing the resonance coming, like it's like a crispness almost. There was like a crispness, and then the second time you sang the words, it was like, to me, it sounded quite different.
More round and more warm, right? There was definitely like, yeah. So you can imagine, like you've just done that within the space of less than a minute. Like you
Yeah.
can imagine that if you can really embody that feeling, that just becomes really, really natural. And there will be, what is a great thing to do is to do it and to write down, to have the words written out and to write down the words that feel really easy And then with the ones that feel more difficult, change them to ma and just keep like molding them until they feel more in that space.
Yeah.
That was super cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we just have a little time left, but if anyone else wanted to have a little go. We're all feeling good about it. So what I can do is we can go through a few more warm-ups that will also just help to put you in that same space. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to again close our eyes, take a really deep breath in, and breathe all of the air out. And so continue doing that. And then what I'm going to want you to do is, as you take a breath out, I want you to make a zzz sound, like a zip. And what I want you to do is imagine that you've got a zip that's going from your belly button all the way up and out the back of your head. So it'll sound something like this. And just stop when it feels natural for you. So whenever you're ready, I'll pop you all on mute. Yeah, so whenever you're ready, just let your ear out and give that a go. When you're ready, did anyone notice anything?
It helped having my eyes closed to focus where the sound was going. I did notice that my tongue position made a bit of a difference there as well. Closer to your teeth, it was more out front, and the further it rolled back, the more it took the sound with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how practical that is, but it was an observation anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Did anyone notice anything in the rest of your body or elsewhere in your body?
I felt a sort of opening, I guess. Or at least that's what I was trying to kind of visualize.
Yeah, perfect.
Just trying to kind of relax and let things go a bit.
Yes, beautiful. Let's do it one more time. We'll do another zzz. And as you imagine that zip, I want you to also just feel your muscles contracting around your stomach. So almost imagine, you're like lifting up something heavy. So as you go, you're starting to lift. So it's a zzz, so that all of the work are in those muscles. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can you do it one more time? Because I think when you did it, it almost like, I don't know if your original sound is turned on or not.
Oh, sorry, it is not.
Because it
Good
would just like
catch.
cut out.
All right, good catch.
Yes.
All right, so what we're going to do, so breathe in. And then relax again. So we're kind of aiming to like pick up that desk and it's heavy. And then when we're ready, we just place it back down gently. Give that a go. See if you can feel that in your stomach. So could you feel that? Could you feel that it was your stomach that was working and not your throat? Could you feel that transfer of power?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like all diaphragm.
Right.
And I
Right.
like that image of kind of lifting something, kind of like zzz, like you're under load, and then like you lift with your legs
Yes.
from down there, you know?
Yes. The
Um,
power source.
yeah.
And
Don't lift with your throat.
I also felt the tension in the shoulders being lowered a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Because it's all going elsewhere. All of the tension lives elsewhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
When I tensed up, I kind of felt some tension happening up here as well.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's expected or not, but like when I tense my stomach muscles and diaphragm, I kind of felt something happening here too, which
Right. Which might actually just be a practice thing of being able to focus it all of that energy in one spot. It's a really unusual thing to do. You know, like when we feel tense as people, we tend to feel tense all over, and all parts of our body take that on. Like in solidarity, it's quite lovely. But actually, in singing, you want to kind of be able to focus it all in that one area, and that takes practice, so it's totally fine.
yeah.
It takes a lot of work to get there. We'll just do one last one really quickly. We've talked a lot about the word ma and how it sits in this nasal area and how it naturally pulls backwards. So I want to use the word mum, and I want us to say the word mum in a really nasally like mum. I can't believe you would say that, like mom. So I want you to all use your most whiny voice and just say mom. It's so fun, right? I feel like this is the one we should all come off mute for. But yeah, like when you practice it, make it like super like mom, like super mom. Like I can't believe you would say
Mom.
that. Yeah. So when you do a warm up, the things you could do, you could start with your breathing. Allow and wait until you feel really relaxed. Don't put a time limit on that. Because if you do, you're kind of just waiting for that to be over, right? So just breathe until you feel good and imagine whatever it takes for you to feel good. And then you can do your zzz, just to try and get those stomach muscles working, to get your placement started here. And then you can say ma, and that will like just really give you like a bit of practice in that nasal space again. It'll make you start pulling it back and then start with your practicing your songs. And that will just put you in a it's a really simple, short warm up, but it will put you in a really good place to actually start playing around. Does that make
I
sense?
love that. Yeah.
Something totally
Can you-
different.
Do you think you could like post a comment of just like those three things in
Yeah.
the event afterwards, just so when we're like, what did she say again? We can just
Yeah.
go right to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anyone have any questions?
No, I just have a comment. I think this is awesome. And like, where do you get to have group vocal kind of like experimentation sessions? This is kind of magical. Like, seriously, it takes a lot of vulnerability and courage to go zzz in front of other people. I mean, oh my God. So I'm really glad that you are creating this safe space to experiment like this, because we're all just, I mean, the thing about The Voice is you don't get to download like a program and like, now I know how to sing. You got to figure this shit out, you know? And it takes experimenting and saying weird things and making noises that like you don't want other people to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't plug in pedals or put filters on it.
True story.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out something in the chat here that Bryce put in there. Something his vocal coach sometimes says the worst thing that can happen is that you sound bad. Well, I know all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Love that.
I've been watching a lot since I can't afford a vocal coach yet. I just I go on YouTube and like there are vocal coaches that like do reaction videos to other singers, like professional singers singing. And they actually give good tips that I'm learning like on vocal like vowel placement and where your tongue should be, and like they sometimes do that like where it should resonate to, and it like I think it's so helpful too sometimes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, if you find videos that you're like, oh man, that totally changed something for me, share it with the community.
Put
Because
it in the group
we are
for
learning
sure.
together.
Okay, sure.
And yeah.
Yeah, there's a great Instagram account that that I'll share from my vocal coach. She's incredible. So I will also pop that in a comment. She's definitely
Yes.
worth following. She adds lots and lots of tips. But yeah, also thank you all. It's a very vulnerable thing to like come off mute and sing something, especially when it's uncomfortable. So I applaud you all. It's and particularly Rick and Dave, like it's a very difficult thing to do. So thank you so much for bringing that. It adds a lot of value.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kel, for pushing us out of our
Yeah.
comfort
Thank you,
zones.
Cal.
Thanks,
great.
Cal. Awesome.
Oh,
10%.
10%. Okay, I have to go.
all right, guys.
iPad.
Have a lovely day. Thank you all so much.
Thanks so much,
Take
Kel.
care.
Next
Thank
time.
you, Cal.
Bye.
Well,
Bye.
Bye.